focus, faster rejuvenation, and better sleep. Order now at eatessentialsnow.com. Essentials, life-enhancing ingredients in the palm of your hand. eatessentialsnow.com.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Are you ready? It is your time to take a few moments from your busy day to unwind, be inspired, and listen to the psychic insights of your host, empowerment psychic, Halley, Elise, a top 100 psychic, speaker, and author. Off air, be sure to connect with Halley at HalleyElise.com. And now, the Halley Elise Show.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining in. If the environment here looks a little different, it's because I'm at the heart of Del Rey this evening. There's the art walk taking place, and I'm actually on the set of the Brooklyn Cafe. Kind of a hectic evening, running back and forth through traffic, trying to get here. Lots of people in the background over there, lots going on. But that doesn't mean you can't still call in. Of course you can. Let me give you the number, and if you'd like a psychic reading this evening, dial 888-565-1470. Once again, that is 888-565-1470. I would hope by now everybody's kind of settled in after their New Year's merriment. Of course, we all do our thing. Sometimes we have a little too much to drink or a little too much to eat. And then I mentioned last week about how I don't do resolutions. I know a lot of folks do. I know that is very important for them. But it's funny because today I was reading someone's article on LinkedIn, and they were saying that they don't do resolutions either because they find that when they do resolutions, 3 weeks in, all of a sudden, everything peters out, and then you're mad at each other, or you're mad at yourself, or you're mad at whatever it was or is that you need to do so that you can feel good. Now, the idea of a resolution, obviously, is to complete something to get to a goal. And I gave you 3 goodies last week. Hopefully you paid attention. If not, you can get in touch later, and I'll be happy to share them again. But what I wanted to say is the biggest thing is you need to like yourself. I was sitting recently with a client who is absolutely stunning, and she doesn't see herself that way, and I believe most of us don't. When we look in the mirror, we see something very different than what everyone else sees. We don't view ourselves. We don't really have an understanding of our own light. And I'm not just talking about that physical beauty, but I'm talking about that spiritual beauty. Each and every one of us has the ability to tap into our innate nature, to our divine connection. However, how often do we do that? Now, the irony here is if we were to connect more deeply, if we were to pay attention to that divine connection, then the idea of physical beauty wouldn't even touch us because we would be so aware of how magnificent we were, we wouldn't think elsewise. And when it comes to making some sort of goal, some sort of conviction as to what comes next and how it's going to be and what it looks like, we would move forward with confidence. I'd like to challenge you for this week, for this month, each time your mind goes to a place that is less than supportive, less than appropriate to your end result, acknowledge it and simply say, okay, yes, that's from the past. That's the way that I used to think. But as of now, I'm going to think a little differently. And just allow your mind to go to that end result. And I'll give you an example here. If, for instance, you wanted to lose 50 pounds and you did great, like the first week you dropped 8 pounds and you went, oh, this is awesome, I can cheat a little. And you went ahead and you had some chocolate. And then you found that you put 4 pounds on. It would be very disturbing if you let it. Instead, what you could do simply is acknowledge that, oh, well, you know what, I did really well and then I didn't. Okay, I'm going to do well again. and actually cancel it out. You start to shift your consciousness. More important is you're sending out a message to the universe, an energy to the universe. It is more than intention, it is emotion. And emotion charges everything that has to do with energy. You want to raise that vibration, connect with your emotion. And it's easier than you think. I'm giving you some examples in respect to looking at goals, but what about just everyday stuff? If you find yourself feeling a little off, get up and dance, turn on some music and move yourself. That simple movement, whether it's fast or slow, doesn't matter. It actually shifts the emotion. Another thing that you can do that truly makes a big difference, not only to raise your vibration, but to allow yourself to really feel good on a consistent basis because you are tapping into that divine nature, is to breathe. Now, I know most of you are going to really breathe, come on. But if you've been following me for a while, you recognize that I'm always speaking about breathing. We don't recognize how important it is to really take a deep breath, to really allow yourself to connect. And when I say connect, if you're wondering, well, what exactly does that mean? That means simply whomever that you feel connected to in respect to divine source, you have the ability to be more aware of their presence, of that presence or influence, if you are breathing deeper, if you are more grounded. And to come to that really is as simple as stopping for a moment and breathing in through the nose very deeply so that you feel it move all the way through your body, and then breathing out just as full-bodied, but from the mouth. And if you allow yourself to do that, you will find that you start to begin to feel more settled and also back to more connected. More connected, interestingly enough, means that you'll start to pay attention to those intuitive nudges. You'll find that things just pop in. I had a client in the office today, and I picked up right away that her intuitive knowing seemed to be jumping in leaps and bounds. And what was fun about this is I said something, and then about halfway through, she says, it's so strange. I'm finding that I'm hearing things more often, that I'm feeling things, that I'm accurate, like I'm right on when I get these sensations. And I simply said to her, keep paying attention. I have an apprenticeship program, a psychic apprenticeship program, and one of the things in the program for my students is to learn how to pay attention. How often do you hear something or feel something, that little gut instinct, and you wonder, what is that about? And you dismiss it until something happens, and then you turn around and you go, oh, I really should have listened to that. That type of knowing, that type of instinct, that type of sensation is something that takes place on a regular basis. If you get familiar with it, you will find yourself getting more comfortable with not just listening, but acting. Intuition is a part of your gift of being born into this world. It comes to all of us. We have different names that we call it, of course. We say mother's intuition, we say gut instinct, we say coincidence. I think that's the most popular one, right? You get a feeling, a sensation, and you're thinking, oh, that's a coincidence. It's because you don't believe that you are connected well enough to be able to have that divine information. And the reason I continue to use divine as a word is if you think in terms of the word divination, what does that mean? It simply means that we are divining, we are connecting to the divine to allow ourselves to hear, to listen, to act. When someone lays down cards for tarot, whether they cast stones or shells, whether they are claircognizant, clairaudient, clairvoyant, doesn't matter what term you use, there's a myriad of ways in which you hear, in which you feel, in which you sense. When you are listening, though, and I don't mean with your ears, but when you are listening to your full being, you get that information. It comes to you with ease. And what's really lovely is that, again, the more you pay attention, the more it expands. So again, I challenged you on listening as far as for your ability to do better and dismiss old beliefs. I challenge you too, this week, this month, pay more attention to that inner voice, that inner knowing, because that will guide you. When we are children, a lot of times we're told to go with that first instinct, even adults actually. we're told, what's your gut say? Where do you think that comes from? That comes from that inner knowing. That comes from that divine influence. And you can believe in whatever you want to believe, but the truth is, every single person has a level of knowing, a level of intuition, a level of psychic ability. And all you simply need to do is learn how to pay attention. A lot of folks say, no, it's evil. I don't want to know from it. And yet, when things happen, we want to know why they happen. When we have a foreknowing, we feel as if we are empowered. And see, this is where it comes down to. You want to be more empowered in your life. You want to be able to truly have a life that is fulfilling, that makes a difference. So why not pay attention? You're going to find that listening just a little bit, your life gets so much better. We're going to take a quick break. Be sure to give me a holler if you'd like to have your psychic reading this evening. It's 888-565-1470. And we'll be right back. Thank you. This is your empowerment psychic, Halley, Elise, one of the top 100 psychics in America. For over 30 years, I have offered psychic readings, programs, spiritual guidance, and other life skill techniques. As our lives have become more complicated, we often reach for answers. Who are we? Where are we headed? Are we pointed in the right direction? In addition, we often are concerned for our loved ones. I have helped thousands of people navigate their life circumstances through different modalities of spiritual and intuitive guidance. Call me at 561-755-2166 and allow me to further explain how I may assist you in clearing the path of yesterday so today and tomorrow will be a success. Call me at 561-755-2166 or visit my site, HalleyElise.com. That's HalleyElise.com.
You have been listening to empowerment psychic Halley Elise, a top 100 psychic. She is your connection to all things spiritual, psychic, and empowering. Your guide to peace and wisdom. For a private appointment off air, call 561-755-2166. Now, back to the Halley Elise Show with empowerment psychic Halley Elise.
Welcome back. If you are first tuning in, my producer is giving me agita, telling me that I am not speaking loud enough. I'd love for you to call in, if nothing else, to let me know if you can hear me. This way I can say, see, I am being heard. All kidding aside, if you'd like a psychic reading this evening, feel free to call 888-565-1470. Once again, that's 888-565-1470. If you missed the first half, I was just sharing about the ability to connect with the divine within as well as without, your ability to shift your mental state. You'll find that in a lot of my social media, I talk about mental shifts and I talk about breath work and meditation, because those things really help you connect. But more than that, they help you get grounded. They help you feel stable in your world. It's interesting too, because anytime you do that type of thing, use one of those modalities, you will find that life just seems kinder, really and truly. I was saying before the break that if you make a change, as in acknowledging what doesn't work and saying, okay, that's my past, and choosing to do something different and having emotion and intent, you raise your vibration. When you meditate, when you do breath work, when you do something as simple as listening to music and just sway back and forth, you allow yourself to release tension. You allow your mind, your body, and your spirit to become one, to be connected to each other in a way that they're supposed to be. We are never without that mind, body, spirit. However, sometimes we forget about one or the other. We get really busy with work, with that physical activity, with the need to go and to do, or because we want to have a certain look. Sometimes we're so busy mentally because we're trying to figure out what's our next move, or we are trying to figure out how do we take care of our loved ones. When it comes to spirit, there is truly a myriad of ways in which we can go ahead and give thanks. Benediction can be done in a multitude of ways. And even if your God, your belief system, your goddess is nothing more than nature, and I don't say nothing more as in to be dismissive, because nature is beautiful and nature is a part of the whole. But if that is your area of focus, that is what you connect to, then that's what you use to feel good. Go outside and allow yourself to be a part of that nature. The other day I went out to the beach at the crack of dawn because I wanted to see the sunrise, and because I wanted to take photos probably more than I wanted to see the sunrise. The sunrise just gives me a great topic to look at, and if you take a look at Facebook or Instagram, you'll start seeing some of the photos that I took. I'm releasing them a little bit at a time with different quotes or motivational information or psychic information, but the idea is to let those images out. And one of the things that I shared was how we see something is how it shows up in our world. Meaning, if we adore something, if we find it pleasing, obviously we are going to be happier to be around it. If we see something and it's stressful, or we see something that we think is wrong, that's going to bother us. All of that has energy. And when I say energy, it's not woo-woo. Science has shown us that every single thing on the face of the planet, everything, you, me, the table, the chairs, the floor, what have you, all has a vibration, a frequency,
Call her
energy.
Denise.
And I think we just heard there's a caller, Denise, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, it's very strange here at the studio how it came in. All right, let me finish this thought and then I'll take the call. Bottom line is, when you connect, and again, I'm using that word a lot this evening, but I think it's very apropos, with whatever your focus is, you will find that you are vibrating higher. That energy that is innate to all things expands. Something to think about. Okay, Denise, hi, how are you?
Thank you so much, Halley, for taking my call.
My pleasure.
I'm calling because I'm deeply saddened. I just lost my little Westie, I believe of liver disease this New Year's Eve.
Right.
And I'm calling to see if he had a peaceful transition. I don't know if you could help me out with that. And I don't know if he was mishandled. You know, they took out his gallbladder, but really it was liver disease. So I struggle with how he suffered the last week and how he was away from me and in this hospital.
Right.
And,
the overall feel here is they treated him.
Struggling.
They treated him actually very nice at the hospital.
Did they? I know the place was nice, Halley, but I'm wondering if it was a mishandling of the condition, or if they did everything possible.
Okay. What comes up for me is whatever the symptomology is, or was, pardon me, and the tests indicated what they went for. And even though it ended up being liver disease, it didn't show up that way. It didn't illustrate itself as that way. So my sense here is that they did the right thing based on what they were seeing and what they knew to be true. And I feel like in the end, when they recognized it was liver disease, it was disturbing to them because they didn't expect it either. As far as though how kind they were, honey, you need to not worry. They were very nice to your little guy. And the only thing that I get as far as during that time was that your Westie missed you. On a good note, though.
Oh, I know he did, and I feel so bad. I wish I could have been there more.
You know, you can only do so much, though. And here's the thing, because even when we deal with people and doctors, we can't always have them right next to us in the midst of chaos or illness. They know that they're loved. You know, whether it's a grandparent or it's a dog.
Did he feel alone?
I don't know. No, I don't. I feel really and truly that there was one girl in particular. I feel like she's a little bit younger. I would say a vet tech or possibly somebody in training. But I get the impression that she kept checking on him, that she was kind of like his buddy while he was there. And
Uh-huh.
so I don't get that he was alone or feeling lonely. I just get that he missed his mom. I can tell you though, be aware if you see like a little white thing out of the corner of your eye in the next couple of weeks here, because he's still around you. And
Is he?
yeah, and
Oh
he's
my
just
God, it's
he's
so sad.
he's just letting you know that you're loved, honey. That's all. And
And it was his time, Halley. Was it his time?
it was. I mean, I actually get major confirmation on that. I get chills. This little guy came in with a specific contract for a period of time to be in your company. And I feel like that was all preordained. And it simply comes
Thank
down
you.
to, in this moment, do your best to just remember the sweetness. Do your best to remember how the relationship was. Because I still feel like your little guy's around you. Don't be surprised if you're on the bed and it feels like there's a depression in the bed or on the couch.
Oh, thank you.
You'll know. Okay?
Thank you so much for taking my call. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Take
Thank
good
you.
care. Okay, hon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So hard when we lose a loved one, especially pets. And I've said this a million times, which is kind of cuckoo, but I almost find it easier when a person passes than when an animal passes, simply because with a person you can have communication with them, verbal communication. With a pet, even though you can be close to your animal, and even if you do like I do, which is you talk to them and you understand them, it's different. It leaves you almost feeling as if you missed something or you left something off, or you want more. Truly, you want more. And don't mistake what I'm saying. Of course, it's as important when a person passes. I just feel that sometimes it's a little more difficult with our four-legged and feathered friends. And there's I was going to say saying, but it's actually a poem about the Rainbow Bridge and the animals crossing and being looked after. And I do my best to think about that whenever a little one passes. If you have an animal that is experiencing something right now, you can do things to help, and you can do things to really let them know that you're there for them, even if you're not in their company, even if they're at the vet's office. Sit down, close your eyes, visualize you're being with them, visualize you're having an interaction. As I said before about energy, and everything around us is energy, you will find that just allowing yourself to get into that visualization, into that meditative state, your energy is enhanced. But not only is it enhanced, you feel that love, and that love that you feel for your little one will be expressed, and they in turn will feel it. That said, years back, there was a gentleman I knew, and he had a dog who he adored, and the dog was not well and was on medicine, and they knew that the animal didn't have much time. But no matter what the medicine was, it seemed as if the dog was in discomfort. And I had suggested to the gent that he just take his hands and put them on the animal and let his hands get warm against the animal's skin, fur. And as he did that, to just focus on peace and love and comfort. And he did, and he found that it made a huge difference. Again, it's that transmission of energy, that sharing, and we have that ability. You do not have to take a Reiki class to be able to share energy. You do not have to take a specific class or work with a specific methodology. You can just allow your own personal energy to be shared.
1 minute.
Think about your power. Think about your ability to make differences in your life. Shifting your mind to the things you desire versus the ones you don't makes a huge difference. Raising your vibration allows you to attract everything that you want. It's a new year. You can decide how you want it to be and listen to your intuition. Thanks so much for tuning in this evening. I'll see you next week. Good night.
Remember to tune in every Tuesday on WNN at 9 p.m. for more peace, inspiration, and psychic phenomena with empowerment psychic Halley Elise, Top 100 Psychic.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.